He's gonna beat Glover. He's gonna beat Glover up a little bit, soften him up. Glover's probably gonna go down in the second round, saved by the bell, and then in the third round early, he's just gonna have to take the knee, bruv, and just say, you know what, I've come, I won the belt, I won the belt. Here you go. Move on.
He's gonna turn around and say, "I'm too old for this shit."
Spartans, what is your profession?
Yes, people, another edition of Knightz and the Round Table Discussions where we discuss all sports all the time. Got my guy Tooth in the building. How are you doing, sir?
What is good, bruv, man? Long time, man. I can't wait to do this one, bruv.
Bro, it's been too long. Bro, I'm trying to remember now. Like, when was the last time? It was obviously 274. Oh, we even do a review for that. That was my fault, people. That was my fault why we didn't do a review for that. But it's been too long. But people, you know what time it is. You know when Tooth is here. You know our Nate Diaz of Dentistry, our MMA connoisseur is in the building. It is time for Fight Talk. Fight Talk is back, and it is UFC 275 preview show. So you know we're going to be going through the main event, the co-main event, and the people's main event. We're going to be deconstructing. Tooth is obviously going to be giving his expert knowledge on on everybody.
Not a chance.
Bro, listen, people, this is what he does. He says, "Oh no, it's not a chance," and all of a sudden, yeah, he's saying things that I don't even know what's going on, bro. I just let him run with it. But as usual, people, before we start, make sure to like, share, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Get the likes up, get the subscriptions up, and all that good stuff. And I say all the time, share. We are here. And don't forget to join our social media pages as well. Links are in the description. People, if there's a little bit background noise, Tooth is on location right now. So yeah, if you can hear a little bit of rustling and whatnot, don't worry. Don't adjust your sets. It's just Tooth making his way back from his voyage, bro.
I'm almost back at the bunker. You know what I mean? I'm almost back at the bunker, bro.
This guy,
location undisclosed, bro.
Of course, bro. We can never give up where you are. Never give up where you are, bro. 2-2. Anyway, let's not go there before we get shut down, bro.
Just me. All right, let's kick off, bro. Who are we starting off with, man? Your boy, Glover, bro. Your boy, the oldest man on earth, bro. Just see.
Well, yeah, let's start off. Glover Teixeira versus now Tooth. I'm only saying this guy's first name. I'm not going to even attempt to butcher his second name, bruv. Jiri. It's Glover versus Jiri. That's all I'm saying, bruv. Because I ain't got time.
Proper.
I ain't got time for any of that. But it's for the light heavyweight crown. Obviously, Glover winning last year against Jan, obviously making him tap out. So he'll be his first defense, and Jiri obviously coming over to the UFC, his first time at going for the undisputed light heavyweight championship. Two, obviously, Glover achieving his dreams, becoming champion. Obviously, he's been in the UFC for however long. You said it yourself. He's been around for ages. Coming up against a guy, Jiri, who has burst into the UFC. Bro, I'll leave you to go through what else he's done, but burst onto the scene in the UFC. In terms of this fight, bro, like it's the old man versus the young guy in terms of the age difference. I think Jiri's 29, Glover's 42. What are your expectations from this fight, bro? Like, what are we hoping to see from this fight between these two guys?
Well, that age differential, bruv, is the biggest thing that stands out, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? What's it? My man's in his 40s, and Jiri is in his late 20s, coming into his prime. He's been around as well. And that's the thing that stands out the most, is this old lion able to beat this young lion? Do you know what I mean? Will it be a Cinderella story, bruv? And realistically, I don't think it will be, man. Glover's just way too old to take on someone like this. And that's all it is. Jiri is a beast, bruv. He's been out. He's been one of the guys that has made his name outside of the UFC. You know what I mean? So he made his name in Japan.
What was he in?
Rising. He was in Japan before with Rising.
Okay.
It's the Japanese MMA promotion out there. And, you know, he's been in the tournaments. He made a name for himself. The thing is with this guy, like when it comes to styles, he's a finisher. On his record, all his wins and all his losses have come by finish. So he lives by the sword, dies by the sword. And if you do a little bit of research into him, you find out like he's this peculiar sort of guy. He's almost like a comic book character, the way he lives his life. Do you know what I mean? Like lives like a samurai kind of, out in the woods, punching wood, that kind of shit. So he is someone that you can see the UFC will get behind if he wins it. Because with Glover, they don't really have much. Do you get what I mean? He's not really a name. He's not really a draw. But I like the fact that Glover has become a champion. Do you know what I mean? Like he's left his little mark in the history books. It's a nice little shout out to all the old people out there. Like, you know, you can still achieve your dreams and shit. Do you know what I mean? But it's cute. Do you know what I mean? It's cute.
Man said it's cute.
It's cute, bruv. It's cute. But now we need to get back to business, bruv. Do you know what I mean? It's a young man's game. It's a young lion's game. I think statistically speaking, if there's an age differential more than like 9 years, the younger fighter wins 80% of the time. Some stupid, ridiculous stat like that. So it's safe to say if you're a betting person, you'd want to put your money on Jiri in a parlay, or you'd probably want to go all out on Glover, if that makes sense. Like, it's just one of those fights, bro. Glover has to pull something out of his ass.
He's going to have to. As I said, in all sports, it becomes a young man's game, but you cannot substitute experience. And that's one thing that Glover has at the highest level, as UFC is seen as the highest level in combat sports. And you got to take into consideration, Glover's on a 6-fight win streak. He's very confident. Obviously, in his last 3 fights, he has beaten Anthony Smith. He's beaten Thiago Santos. And obviously, he beat Jan for the light heavyweight title. So he is going to, in this fight, is going to be confident. At the same time, you see Jiri obviously knocked out Uzdemir and knocked out Dominic Reyes. I remember seeing that, bruv. I think you're the one that told me to watch it. That spinning a back elbow, bro. I was like, Jesus.
Filthy.
Yeah, disgusting. But go on, bro.
Yeah, no, having said that, you're right, bruv. You're right. That experience accounts for a lot. Especially beating the top level competition that Glover beat, bruv. Those guys are no joke either. Those guys are gatekeepers of the division. They've been around for a long time. They've got big names. Do you know what I mean? Anthony Smith, Thiago Santos, Jan was champion. Do you know what I mean? So Glover definitely deserves to be in the position he's in, and that experience that he got from all those fights will be valuable going into this fight. Absolutely. But to a certain extent, you have to look at those guys as well and think like, look, the light heavyweight division has been so saturated for a long time. You know, a lot of the guys that are it's almost like the heavyweight division in a way. It's like, because the guys at the top are so elite. Yeah. And statistically speaking, there's not enough big men in the world. And then if you narrow that down, light heavyweight, like, you know, to do MMA specifically, to be world elite, they've been able to hold their, you know, positions in the division for a very long time. Now, finally, we're seeing this new breed of light heavyweights that have come up in recent years, you know, Jiri being one of them, Dominic Reyes being another one, Alexander Rakic being another one. They're all finding their feet, and they're all still losing against these top guys to a certain extent in their matchups. But this is what I mean. Like, Jiri has been the one that has sort of spearheaded his way through to getting a legitimate title shot. But again, against an opponent where we're looking at it and thinking he has to be the favorite to win this fight. Yeah, he has 100%. To be the favorite to win this fight.
Yeah.
and then we go into how sort of, you know, Jan wins this fight, which is
Over.
sorry, not Jan. Glover. How Glover wins this fight, which is he has to take him down and submit him, basically.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. This is like I think because as we know, Glover's Tooth. If you could, do you just say he's an all-rounder? He's an all-rounder. He's just good at everything. There's nothing that there's nothing that stands out. Obviously, you've got the jiu-jitsu, and obviously he's a good boxer and whatnot. I think he emulated the style off of Tyson. But for Glover, it's take him down and do the work. Because I think with Jiri, I think there's two things. One, obviously, if he stands with him, obviously Jiri being the taller man and having the reach advantage, he's got a 4-inch reach advantage on Glover, so he can keep him on the outside.
That is you, bro. That is always height and reach all the time, bro. But yeah, I hear you.
But it's true. But I think the other thing is, and what I've seen, I don't know what you think, because obviously you've seen a lot more of Jiri, bro. He's just so unpredictable, bro. Like, you don't know what this guy is going to do. Like I rewatched the fight against Dominic Reyes, bro. And I'm just seeing this guy doing all sorts. Hands everywhere, elbows, knees, lazy leg kicks. I'm just like, how like from Glover's perspective, obviously we say he needs to take him down and then sub him. But how do you prepare for somebody that you just don't know what he's gonna do, bruv?
No, exactly. And it's nice that you brought up Glover in the sense that, you know, like what is this guy really good at other than being old? Well, there was once a time where Glover was known as a knockout artist, bro, believe it or not. Like back in the day. So long story short, Glover came to the UFC very late in his career because of like passport issues or whatever, immigration issues. So by the time he got to the UFC, he was already, I think, in his 30s. You get me? And he kind of made a name for himself by knocking people out, like sparking people out. I remember he knocked out the Bellator light heavyweight champion, or what was his name? Ryan Bader. He got a title shot. He got a title shot immediately against John Jones, which he lost badly. But at the time of that fight, the talk was about like, oh, what if John Jones gets hit by Glover? Because Glover was known as this sort of puncher, a heavy puncher. So as time has gone on, like obviously his game has sort of changed and he's become a much more well-rounded fighter as opposed to relying on his knockout power. And then he also noticed as he's getting older as well, his chin can't last because he's been knocked out several times. Of recent memory, like Anthony Rumble Johnson knocked him out. So he's had to adapt his style to become an all-rounder. And with a guy like Prohaska, like you said, his stand-up is so unorthodox. You can't find a training partner that will emulate the kind of shit that he will try to throw at you. So your game plan has to be very strategic. It has to be very rigid. And for someone like him with the weapons that he possesses, it has to be, all right, we have to take this guy down and submit him or get him really, really tired. You know, stretch the fight out as long as possible, weigh on him, drag on him. Do you know what I mean? Because the guy sort of lives by the sword and dies by the sword, which complements his style of being this unorthodox fighter. You know, you're going to have to expend a lot more energy if you're being wild in there. And it's proven by his record. Like, none of his fights have gone the distance. So,
yeah, and he's got like I think I saw something, he's got like a 80% knockout ratio in like round 1 or something crazy like that, bruv.
Absolutely. So with someone like that, that's the only two ways I can see the Glover camp preparing for this fight. It's either or it's either to drag on him, weigh on him, make the fight as long and as nasty as possible, make it as dirty as possible, and just take him into deep waters. But again, it's hard to see that with someone as young and as fresh and as strong and as wild and as unorthodox as Prohaska, bro, with the finishing rate that he has, with the suspect chin that Glover has. It's hard to put your money on Glover, bruv, for me at least.
Listen, I don't disagree with you. It's I think the people that want to see the fairy tale want Glover to win this, to say he won the belt, he's defended it. I think there's a card at the end of the year in Brazil. It will be the fairy tale for him to go there, defend it, and then say, because I think he's been talking about retirement and whatnot, and saying it's time to walk off in the sunset. That's what people that Glover fans would want. Unfortunately, he's just coming up against a guy that is a monster. But in saying that, he's hittable. And what we did see against Jan in the fight is to set up Glover taking him down and then giving him the rear that they could choke. Glover did catch him with one of his biggest weapons, which is the left hook. So with Jiri, because I think Dominic Reyes, before obviously the spinning elbow, Dominic Reyes was trying to be a little bit elusive, caught him with a jab and then closed the distance and then got tight to Jiri. So is that a tactic for Glover to do? Is little jab out, try and close the distance so that Jiri can't do his work? Because we know Jiri's best work is at length. So as much as trying to take him down and try to take this fight as long as it can go, can Glover also try and make it as close as possible and do all the holding and the grappling, bring that grappling aspect into this fight?
Yeah, absolutely. That's the only way, like, you know, he's gonna get hit with the least of Jiri's most powerful strikes, is getting into the clinch. But by no means is Glover a jiu-jitsu specialist or a wrestling specialist or anything. He's a guy with good wrestling and good jiu-jitsu, but he's not like world renowned. Like, Jiri's got nothing to really fear going into a clinch with Glover, other than him trying to wear him out, dirty box him, make him tired. It's not like Glover possesses the sort of revered reputation that someone like Damian Maia has. Like, oh yeah, don't let Damian Maia get close to you. It's not like that, but that's where we've not seen a lot of Jiri
exactly.
in the UFC. We've not seen him there. So, you know, we've not seen him on his back. We've not seen him in the clinch. We know he can knock people out. And normally the recipe to sort of counter someone with those strengths is to get close to them and tire them out and take them into deep waters or get them on the ground and submit them. But it's going to be an intriguing fight, man. It will be an intriguing fight. Who knows, man? It is a toss-up, but I'm leaning towards the younger lion out of the two on this one.
So what are you saying to give us? You're leaning towards Jiri. What are you saying? Round 1, round 2? What are you saying? 5 rounds? What are you saying? Jiri with an ankle lock?
Do you know what, bro? I'm gonna go Jiri Prohaska, and I'm gonna go by decision. And I think it'll be decision. And I think Glover's heart, like, we're not taking that into consideration.
Oh yeah,
Glover's it's gonna take. Do you know what I mean? It's gonna take a lot to take the title away from him, and I think he's just gonna be a punching bag for the whole 5 rounds. I think that's a possibility. I'm gonna go with that. I'm gonna go with Jiri beating the shit out of him for 5 rounds.
Nah, I don't disagree with you, and that's the other aspect that obviously we didn't bring up, is the fact that Glover's been through adversity. He's been there and done it, bro. We've seen Glover get knocked down and get back up. He's come back in many a fight and won them. So Jiri knocking him down is not guaranteed that that's it, folks. Glover's just going to take it lying down. Jiri might come up against a guy that's, after the first punch and he goes down, is not just going to go to sleep. he could just get back up, and then that will be a test to see what he does. When he thinks, oh yeah, all I have to do is bang, connect, fight's over, give me the belt. Like Glover's not that guy in it. Glover, you're physically going to have to sleep him for to rip that title away from him, because I don't see him giving up. In saying that, I'm gonna go with a third round finish from Jiri. I think he's gonna beat Glover. He's gonna beat Glover up a little bit, soften him up. Glover's probably gonna go down in the second round, saved by the bell, and then in the third round early, he's just gonna have to take the knee, bruv, and just say, you know what, I've come, I won the belt, I won the belt. Here you go, move on.
He's gonna turn around and say, I'm too old for this shit.
And then he'll probably fight two for you. Like, if he loses in Brazil, how does he finish it? Who does he fight? What's the fight that everyone would want him to see him have to retire in Brazil if he loses the belt? Like, who's out there?
I mean, anyone really. I mean, anyone, even like one of the old ass gatekeepers like Maurizio Shogun Rua. Do you know what I mean? Or like Ilir Latifi, one of those guys, one of those like veteran guys at light heavyweight. Shogun fought recently as well. He fought Ovin St. Preux in their rematch. I think he lost that as well. But yeah, Shogun's got a few more fights on his contract as well. They're both Brazilians. They're both legends. You know, Shogun was Pride champion and UFC champion. Glover was UFC champion, or still is UFC champion. That would be a good fight. But these are all ifs and buts. We'll see. We'll see what happens with this fight. I don't think Glover will retire after this. I just don't see it happen. I still think he's got one more fight in him. But yeah, man, I'm going with Jiri decision. I think it will be really hard to take the belt away from Glover. He's going to put up a fight. He's going to try and make it as dirty as possible and draw it out for as long as possible. But yeah, Jiri's just too young, too strong.
No.
Jiri in 5, bruv.
No, I hear you, and people, we shall see what happens in that fight. It's one of those intriguing ones. You kind of think you know what's going to happen, but as we've seen in the UFC, anything can happen in this sport. So we'll see what happens. But moving on to the second fight, the co-main event, it is Valentina Shevchenko. I don't know how to say this girl's name. Is it Taylor or Tyler Santos? The women.
I don't even know, bro. Talia, I have no clue, bro. Some Brazilian chick, bro. But she's all right though. She can bang, bro. She can fight.
And it's for the flyweight title. Tooth. I mean, it's one of them ones. You said this girl can bang, but we are dealing with one of the future GOATs and Hall of Famers in the UFC, in Valentina Shevchenko. So can we really see anything else but a Valentina winning this fight? What argument could you put for Santos coming and causing a massive upset?
I'm excited for this fight, bro. This is one of the few Valentina fights I'm actually excited for. Not because I'm just a big fan of hers and I'm expecting her to beat whoever they put in front of her, but actually, like, I don't recall too much of this chick from my memory, but I recall enough to know, like, when she came in, she was making a name for herself. You've got to run through the names on that list, bruv, if you've got it in front of you, just to jog my memory. But is she a knockout specialist? Is she a finisher?
In the UFC, like, she's got bare UDs, bruv.
She unanimous?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But her game is stand up.
Yeah,
her game is stand up.
That's what I remember thinking, bruv. I just remember, like, thinking she had really good stand-up. Like, she was dominating whoever was in front of her.
clearly she was levels above the competition she was fighting. So I'm excited, bruv. I still think Valentina should win this one, but out of all of Valentina's opponents, this is the only one where I'm thinking like, yeah, worthy competition here, like worthy competition. And who knows? Who knows? Like Valentina's been at the top for so long that sometimes you could get a bit comfortable there. We saw what happened to Amanda Nunes. Do you know what I mean? Against Pena. And I think Santos is better than Pena if we're talking in relation and in correlation to who they're fighting. So Valentina definitely needs to be like, she needs to be switched on for this one because she's fought a lot of bums. Let's keep it real, like Jessica I and like a bunch of other like fucking cack fighters, bro. But the thing is, we know she's like, we don't need to judge her by the punching bag. We know she's just a fucking a monster.
Nah, 100%.
So it's good to see her now finally come up against someone like I said, worthy.
No, I don't disagree with you. Obviously, she's levels. I mean, she's on an 8-fight win streak. This is going to be her 7th title defense. Obviously, hasn't lost since the split decision against Amanda Nunes. Can beat anybody in any way. KO sub. She can go to 5 rounds as well. Like, bruv, like it's just very difficult to make a case for anybody. But with this Santos girl, I will say I agree with you in saying that she is somebody that is worthy of fighting her. I think she's had, I think she's had 5 fights, no, 6 fights in the UFC, but she's only lost 1. I think it was her second that she lost to, what's her name? Mara Romero. Don't know if you know who that is.
Yeah, I think it's either an Italian or a Mexican fighter, but yeah, that's. Do you know what I mean? Like losing a fight early in your career in the UFC, it's excusable. It happened to Islam. Do you know what I mean? Like that's not a measuring stick. Like to a certain extent, it does give away certain weaknesses where you see if a fighter can improve from there. But I think Santos has definitely been one of those standout fighters. Like every fight she's been in, you could see like the competition she's facing is not on her level. But now we'll really see if she's on the level of someone like a Shevchenko. She might lose, but it will still give us the answer of, oh, is she going to be a problem in this division? Do you know what I mean? Like, is she finally being a rival to someone like Shevchenko? That's what I'm curious to see, man. Because she can, of course, you know, she's got good stand-up. Shevchenko's got good stand-up. That's where I want to see this fight play out.
Well, this is it. But apparently, I think she made some comments saying she's gonna take it to the ground with Shevchenko, or a little bit of tongue in cheek there, obviously, because we know that's not her game, and we know that Valentina will absolutely destroy her on the ground. But in the stand-up, it'll be interesting to see how she does. If you're going from Valentina, there's 2 ways you go about this. You do it the easy way and you say, look, I'm going to take you down, do whatever I need to do and win the fight. That's the game plan. Or what you could do is say, nah, I'm going to meet this girl in the center of the ring. We go stand up, we see what happens. And then Valentina will probably be on one of them ones where if I beat you standing up, you just go to the wayside like everybody else, bruv, because we know you're not going to beat me on the ground. So if I beat you standing up, that's it. You're done. On to the next one. I just can't see how Valentina loses this fight, especially, which we'll get into in the review, especially if she wins, what her reward could be. As I said, we'll get into the review if she does win. So I think she's focused. She's got the eye on the bigger prize, but she'll want to deal with Santos first.
Yeah, 100%, man. She's bro, Valentina's so good. Like her main asset is striking. She has nothing to fear of Santos, nothing at all. She head kicked Jessica I into like to sleep. Do you know what I mean? She's been she's put on a clinic against Joanna Jędrzejczyk. Do you know what I mean? She's beaten stiff competition as well as all these other bums, which she's made to look like pedestrians. So for this fight, Valentina could do whatever she wants. If we're going on paper, she could do whatever she wants to this chick. Whatever she wants to this chick. This chick is a decision merchant. But from what I remember, if I recall, you know, if I'm going deep into the archives here, she had good striking. She was like a kickboxer kind of.
Yeah. She's got the pedigree of good striking. She does. 100%.
And obviously, if she's Brazilian, then just naturally Brazilian jiu-jitsu has to be in their DNA. Do you know what I mean? So whatever it is, whatever she possesses, Valentina has proven its levels. She's levels above this Santos chick. However, like I said, the last few opponents, I can't even tell you. Like, who did Shevchenko fight recently, bro? Like, do you have the?
No, I ain't got it. I didn't write it down. I can't lie.
Yeah, bro. It's like that's what I mean. It's of no one of note. It's of no one of like of real note. Like she fought Priscilla Cachoeira, some Brazilian like bum. She fought Jessica I, who was also to a certain extent a bum. With all due respect, like these names are not really appealing. We just tune into the fights to see Shevchenko just perform some magic. You get what I mean?
Exactly.
So yeah, man. No, I'm still gonna go with Shevchenko on this.
What are you saying though? What are you saying?
Yeah.
What we go in decision or what?
No. I'm gonna go finish because I think in her last fight, Shevchenko with Jennifer Maia went the decision. So I feel like she's got something to prove now. Like I feel like people think, oh, she could be beatable or she could be beaten. So I'm gonna go with a second round, third round finish, submission. It's gonna be a beatdown, and then she's gonna get the girl into a submission and tap her out. Simple.
Yeah. No, I agree. Third round, sub, and then she moves on to the next one. Pretty simple. I think Santos will do a little bit in the first round. Valentina will obviously collect the data, and then second round she'll put the pressure on, and then third round, we'll call it a day, and that's what it is. Simple as. Valentina moves on, bruv. Still undefeated in the flyweight division. And we'll see what happens there, people. I mean, I said, people, Tooth and I will say this, but we said the same thing about Amanda Nunes, and look what happened. So I said it's always unpredictable. Oh yeah, and Fug Rose as well. So it's always unpredictable, especially in the women's division.
I said Carla.
I know you called Carla.
Fug Rose. I'll call Carla, bro. But that fight was dead, bro. That was a dead fight.
It was.
Fight.
And speaking of that, obviously, with Carla Esparza winning that fight, she's now got the belt. We've got the people's main event on this card. Fight of the year in 2020. It is Zhang Weili versus Joanna 2, bruv. And people, listen to me.
That's what we love on this show. We love this on this show. That rematches, trilogies, quadruples, sextuplets, octuple, like whatever, bruv. Just keep it go, like run it back, bruv. Just keep running it back, bruv. Just run it back all day. Do you know what I mean? We love this shit, bruv.
As you can see, people, you know, Two loves these things. But what I was gonna say was, if you haven't seen this fight, A, where have you been? But B, if you haven't, go and watch it, because this fight was 25 minutes of chaos, right? Anarchy. Like, I've never seen anything like it. And it was a split decision. It deserved to be a split decision. It was crazy. And they're running it back again. Unfortunately, too, it is only 3 rounds. It is only 3 rounds. So we're not going to get that 25 rounds of madness, but we're still going to get 15 minutes of madness. Where do we go in this fight too? Because with Zhang Weili, she's coming off back-to-back losses to Fug Rose. Joanna hasn't fought since that fight against Zhang Weili. in 2020, which I think she definitely deserved it, bro, because she was looking like that alien from Mars Attack after that fight.
Bro, listen, that's what I want my picture to be for this show, bro. I want that picture of Joanna with a big head to be my my profile for this episode, bro.
I definitely get that for you, bro. I get that for you 100%. But yeah, she hasn't fought since that fight, which she needed because she needed to recover. But both fighters are coming off losses. So in terms of Joanna, especially Tooth, being inactive for so long, what are we anticipating from this fight from between the two of them? But specifically Joanna, because she's been out for just over 2 years now.
I mean, yeah, there's going to be ring rust involved. It doesn't help her case that her last fight was a loss as well. And I think before that, she was on a run of like sort of winning and losing as well. She'd lost to Rose a couple times. Right amount of time off to recover. And the benefit is that she's fighting an opponent she already knows. And it's not going to be 5 rounds. So there is some benefits to fighting Zhang Weili, her first fight back. It's a familiar opponent, but also it's less exhausting on the body because it's only 3 rounds. And also it's a high risk, high reward fight. So if she wins it, she's right back up there. And she's also a draw, an ex-champion. Her reputation holds weight, bruv. So there's a lot of pluses here. If they lose, and I say this with regards to both of them, they're in a similar situation as Michael Chandler and Tony Ferguson sort of thing. Because they've lost to high level opponents. That, to be honest, anyone on any day could win or lose against them. They're sort of forgiven. They're forgiven because they're still the world's best. They're still like number 4 or number 5 in the world. You know what I mean? And this is what happens when you fight in divisions that are saturated, bro. We've got to look at it this way, bro. In the world, think of like how many people there are, and then think of how many people there are of that gender, and then think of how many people there are that do that sport, and then think of how many people there are that are in that weight division, and then narrow that down to the top 5 in the world. Now, if those 3 or those 5 all fight each other, and some of them go on a 3-fight, 4-fight losing streak, that's nothing. Do you know what I mean? Like, people with the understanding of the sport will know, like, that's not a big deal. Dana even said that himself, and the reporters were putting that question to him, especially with the Chandler and the Ferguson fight. They were like, well, look, if either of these guys lose, they're going to be on a 3 or a 4-fight losing streak. And usually in the UFC, that means you get axed. And Dana turned around and he said to the reporters the same thing I'm saying now, which is basically like, no, you kind of got to put an asterisk here, because these guys are fighting the top 3 or 4 in the world in the last 3-4 fights. And it's similar with Joanna. She is that good in a division which is separated by a very big margin between the very elite and the rest, that if she does lose to Zhang or vice versa, they will still have a very long career with the UFC.
But my issue with that is that where does she go from there? Because she's lost 4 of her last 6, not in a row, but she's lost 4 out of her last 6. 2 to Thug Rose, back-to-back loss to Thug Rose, lost to Shevchenko, and then lost to Zhang Weili, albeit split decision. If she was then to go and lose to Zhang Weili again, she can't talk to Thug Rose because Thug Rose beat her back-to-back. Zhang Weili would have beaten her back-to-back, and she doesn't get the shot against Carla Esparza. So I get what you're saying in terms of Joanna's a big draw, but mentally, when you have lost to 2 of the women two of the best women in your division, and obviously Shevchenko's in a different weight class. It's like, where does she go, bro? Like, where does she really go from there? She can fight the lesser,
it's simple,
but
bro.
it's not the same.
Bro, it's simple, bro. It's simple. Rematch, bro. Trilogies and that, bro. Run it back, bro. Run them all back, bro. Run them all back, bro. That's what I mean. When you've got the name like that, and they've got the name like that, and you've already fought once, and you're an ex-champion, they're ex-champions, these fights are easy to make, bro. Easy to make.
But not
you
to,
can
not,
fill
not
up a
to,
card easily with these races.
not to back-to-back losses though. Not because I said that'll be back-to-back losses against Fug Rose, back-to-back against Zhang Weili.
No, but bro, this is the thing. The women's division is very, very limited, bro. So you might see hot potato with the title. You know, it might take Joanna might lose this fight, right? But within 2 or 3 fights, she could be a champion again. There's no one there, bro. There's no one there on that level. And that's what I mean. They might have to do this carousel, this merry-go-round of fucking rematches and quadruples, and because there's no one else out there until a new crop of fighters come in that really take the division by storm. It is going to be Fug Rose. It is going to be Joanna. It is going to be Zhang Weili. It is going to be Carla Esparza. Do you know what I mean? It is going to be these guys. And they've all fought each other already. You know, so it's like a win against either one of them can easily propel one to a title shot and potentially winning the title.
Nah, I hear that. I think this is make or break for either of these women because, as I said, Zhang Weili as well. Because of the situation with Fug Rose, they're not going to... I wouldn't put her back in with Fug Rose after the back-to-back losses. If Joanna was to win this, she probably gets the shot against Carla Esparza. So then it leaves Zhang Weili in waiting to see who loses that fight before she can get back in the octagon, which might not be too bad for her, but I'm just like, both these women are in a situation where a win is necessary, not only for their careers, but obviously title shot. And then they're going up against somebody that they know in their heart they can beat. It'd have been different if these two had this fight and it was Fug Rose with the belt. But with Carla Esparza with the belt, both these women know they can beat her. So that's the massive incentive. And as you said, for Joanna, she could come back, beat Zhang Weili, then fight Carla Esparza 2 fights, she's world champion again. That's how crazy it is. And that's where I do agree with you. With these women, it's so easy to get back to the top because the pool of fighter is so small.
You remember when Rose lost the title to Andrade?
Yeah.
And like within 2-3 fights, she was champion again.
It's true. It's true.
Like that's what I mean. And Joanna as well, when she lost the title, she had an immediate rematch, and then she went down to fight Shevchenko, and she had an immediate title shot. You know what I mean? And then she came back up, and she had another title shot against Zhang Weili. So it's like within 1 or 2 fights, these girls are always going to be in title contention, always. But if either of these girls lose, there's still girls out there that they can fight, just like the tier below, you know, the top 3 or 4. So people like Angela Hill, people like Andrade, like these girls are out there, just the tier below that, where they could use as like a warm-up fight, a tune-up fight, in between fight, to again just propel their names back in or solidify their names within that top 4, top 5. So it's I get what you mean. Like the losses look bad on paper, but realistically they're not. Like they don't mean anything. Do you know what I mean? Because these girls are in a division that's very limited, where the elite are separated by a very significant margin between the rest of them. So on any night, any of them can lose against each other. Like you said, their first fight, Zhang Weili and Joanna's first fight, it was a split decision. I think it was I think Zhang Weili clearly won the fight. But
we had this conversation. I said I agreed with you. I can't lie.
Yeah, I think when Zhang won that fight. But I'm not gonna lie, like Joanna put up a fucking fight, bro.
Yeah,
She put up a like you can't deny, like she lost, but she like it was an entertaining fight. And she had her moments as well. Now the problem is with rematches, it either goes one of two ways, man. I mean, we can it could go any way actually. Looking at Figueiredo and Moreno, like we could see someone come out and completely dominate the other one, or we could see it be a similar affair to the first fight where it's like a complete war, chaos, anarchy, madness, or we could see what happened with like you remember when Tyron Woodley fought Stephen Wonderboy Thompson the second time, and it was just complete, boring, dead fight. Like anything can happen.
I don't think these two have it in them to be like that though.
I'm hoping it's not like that. I'm hoping we'll see another classic. And that's what I'm expecting, actually. I'm expecting another classic. I'm expecting Joanna to come out with a point to prove. You know, she's been out of the game for a while. She's not really done too many like media promotional things. Like she's kind of kept it low key as far as I'm aware of. So that indicates to me maybe she's got her head in the right place. Do you get what I mean? And I'm expecting her to come out focused with a point to prove. And I'm expecting Zhang Weili to be sharp as well. You know, come with that communist discipline that she always has, bruv. She never, like, you know, the only thing you can say about Zhang Weili, yeah, is like, you kind of have this expectation of her to come prepared to every fight. And that's simply because of a racial stereotype, bruv. It's simply because she's Chinese, bruv. And it's facts, bruv. She does, bruv. She, like, it's true. Like, she never comes to, like, a fight overweight. Like, she never comes to a fight overweight. She never comes to a fight getting drunk the night before the fights, drinking wine. Like, she's always the professional, the disciplinarian, bruv. And to some extent, that could be attributed to being Chinese, bruv. Who knows? We'll let Dave Chappelle figure that out, bruv. You get me, bro. He gets paid way more than I do, bro.
Exactly.
To discuss these subjects, bro. But yeah, bro. So having that being said, I'm expecting another classic, bro. I'm hoping there's another classic.
So where we going, bro?
Do you know what? I'm gonna go with. Fuck it. I'm gonna go with Joanna, bro. And this is not because of Polish bias, bro. This is simply because I want to see her fight Carla and win the title back.
Yeah.
Like she did the first time she beat Carla to win it. I think that'll be a sick narrative. I would love to see that play out. And it will put loads of eyeballs back on the division. Trust me. That is like that will put loads of asses into seat if it plays out like that.
100%. I can't disagree with that. If Joanna was to come back and win it, it just opens up the division again because it opens it back up to Fug Rose, and then it opens it back up to Zhang. Because what we'll probably see if Joanna were to do it, she'd go and fight Carla Esparza, probably win it, and then we would see Fug Rose come back and probably fight Joanna, and then we'll probably see Esparza fight Zhang Weili, and the winner of those two fight each other. So in one sense, Dana's probably hoping that Joanna wins that, so that this is what happens. But I'm going to kill that dream because I'm going with Zhang Weili, bro. I think that Joanna spent too much time out of the octagon. I think with Zhang Weili having them tough two fights against Fug Rose is going to be better for her. She's going to be in better condition. She's going to be more ring sharp. And obviously it being 3 rounds, it has to be a little bit more high octane. So it's not going to give Joanna a chance to settle and try and get into her rhythm. So I'm going to go with Zhang Weili on decision. But I think this is a fight that can go either way, bruv. Either way. I'm praying and I hope and I think it's just going to be 15 minutes of absolute chaos, bruv.
bruv, you're gonna start doing this show by yourself, bruv, because that breakdown, like, I agree with everything you just said, bruv. Like, fuck it. Like, I've changed my mind, bruv. I've changed my mind. Fuck it, Zhang Weili is gonna win, bruv. You nailed it on the head, bruv. No, for real. For real. That is a very thorough breakdown, bruv. And if you're a betting man, I would say, like, go with TJ's advice, bruv.
Bro, listen,
Real.
but you're the one that's been on the street, bruv.
But for
streak
real,
of-
no, you nailed it on the head, bruv. Those two tough fights with Rose will definitely have made Zhang Weili a better fighter. 100%. 100%. While Joanna's been off getting the boob job and, taking time off recovering, whatever she's been doing, nothing's been more beneficial than going through those two hard fights with Rose. The first one was like being knocked out, but she was caught cold early in the fight. It happens. And the second one, actually going the full distance with Rose. Do you get what I mean? And the same thing happened to Joanna as well. Joanna got knocked out by Rose cold. In the first round, she was caught cold. They hadn't really warmed up. The fight hadn't got any rhythm. She was caught off guard, bang, knocked out. And then in the second fight, she went the distance with her, lost quite, unanimously.
Yeah.
But the thing is, with Zhang, she's earlier. I feel like she's earlier in her career where this has happened. Whereas with Joanna, it's coming towards, I don't want to say the twilight of her career, but it's coming towards the end of her peak, because she had her reign. She had her incredible reign of like 5, 6, title defenses, against girls of that generation, like Carla Esparza, like Valerie Letourneau, and all those girls that were the sort of the first line of fighters at 125, or was it 120, 130, whatever division it was, 125. So it feels like she's got more mileage.
Yeah.
She's got more mileage on her record. So you're right, with Zhang having these two losses at this stage in her career, it could only make her a better fighter, because she's either in her prime or coming into her prime now. She's still in her prime. And against a very, very high level opponent, a champion, whereas Joanna, again, is coming off a 2-year layoff. So you're right, bruv. I can't disagree with that. I think and it may be a whitewash, bruv. Who knows? It may be a complete whitewash. Joanna is a tough competitor, but when I say whitewash, I mean all 3 cards you might give to Zhang Weili unanimously, even though we'll put up a fight. So, but yeah, can't wait for this one, bro. I love it. You know me, I love rematches. Run it back, bro. Run it back again on the night. Like, whatever that outcome, just run it back again, bro. Trust me.
No, I hear you. And people, again, will find out what happens. It's a card. It's a very intriguing card. And obviously, we want to see what happens in the main card. Two, have you got the rest of the card up? Or no? Yeah, to be honest, the other fights didn't really interest me, so we'll leave it there. But people, let us know what you think in the comment section. Is Glover's time up? Is it time for Jiri, or will Glover let the swan song continue? Will he sail off into the sunset after he loses? Let us know what you think about Valentina versus Santos. Do you think it's just another day in the office for Valentina? She gets another body on our roster, or can Santos commit another massive upset? We've had 2 big upsets, especially in the women's division in the past couple cards. So could it be another one where Santos pulls up a massive upset? And Zhang Weili versus Joanna. Joanna's comeback, is it the big return, or is Zhang Weili just going to be like, go back to wherever you were for the past 2 years? It's going to be a very, very intriguing card, people, and we cannot wait to see what happens. And as usual, before we go, make sure to like, share, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Get a like, subscriptions, and all that good stuff. And I say all the time, share. We are here. And don't forget to join our social media pages as well. Links are in the description. I want to say thank you very much to Tooth. As always, it has been a pleasure.
Thanks, bro. I love it, man. I can't wait for the review, bro.
Yeah, and people review will obviously be next week. So I'll be back again with Tooth for another episode of Fight Talk. I don't know what's coming up. I'm still waiting on the Truth to tell me when Arsenal talk is going to happen. He's going to be jumping on with Mr. KA and Jay. May do something with ST as we sort the kinks out. And people, very, very soon, it's coming very, very soon, we'll be going live at some point in the next 2 weeks. So look out for that as well. But people, stay safe out there. Be safe. And we shall see you very, very soon. Peace.
Peace.